Committee study of the Central Intelligence Agency Detention and Interrogation Program is a report compiled by the bipartisan United States Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, also known as the SSCI, about the Central Intelligence Agency's Detention and Interrogation Program and its use of torture during interrogation in U.S. government bulletins on detainees in CIA custody. The more than 6,700-page report, including 38,000 footnotes, details the history of the CIA Detention and Interrogation Program and the committee's 20 findings and conclusions. On December 9, 2014, the SSCI released a 525-page portion that consisted key findings and an executive summary of the full report. It took more than 5 years to complete. Full unredacted report remains classified. Today's summary: CIA detainees exhibit psychological and behavioral issues. Psychological and behavioral problems experienced by CIA detainees who were held in austere conditions and in solitary confinement also posed management challenges for the CIA. For example, later in the detention, Ramzi bin al-Shibh exhibited behavioral and psychological problems, including visions, paranoia, insomnia, and attempts at self-harm. CIA psychologists linked Ramzi bin al-Shibh's deteriorating mental state to his isolation and inability to cope with his long-term detention. Similarly, Abd al-Rahim al-Nashiri's unpredictable and disruptive behavior in detention made him one of the more difficult detainees for the CIA to manage. Al-Nashiri engaged in repeated belligerent acts, including throwing his food tray, attempting to assault detention site personnel, and trying to damage items in his cell. Over a period of years, al-Nashiri accused the CIA staff of drugging or poisoning his food and complained of bodily pain and insomnia. As noted, at one point, al-Nashiri launched a short-lived hunger strike, and the CIA responded by force-feeding him rectally. In October 2004, a psychological assessment of al-Nashiri was used by the CIA to advance its discussions with National Security Council officials on establishing an endgame for the program. In July 2005, CIA headquarters expressed concern regarding al-Nashiri's continued state of depression and uncooperative attitude. Days later, a CIA psychologist assessed that al-Nashiri was on the verge of a breakdown. Beginning in March 2004 and continuing until his rendition to U.S. military custody at Guantanamo Bay in September 2006, Majid Khan engaged on a series of hunger strikes and attempts at self-mutilation that required significant attention from CIA detention site personnel. In response to Majid Khan's hunger strikes, medical personnel implemented various techniques to provide fluids and nutrients, including the use of a nasogastric tube and the provision of intravenous fluids. CIA records indicated that Majid Khan cooperated with the feedings and was permitted to infuse the fluids and nutrients himself. After approximately 3 weeks, the CIA developed a more aggressive treatment regimen without unnecessary conversation. Majid Khan was then subjected to involuntary rectal feeding and rectal hydration, which included 2 bottles of Ensure. Later that same day, Majid Khan's lunch tray consisted of hummus, pasta with sauce, nuts, raisins, which was all pureed and rectally infused. Additionally, sessions of rectal feeding and hydration followed. In addition to his hunger strikes, Majid Khan engaged in acts of self-harm that included attempting to cut his wrist on 2 occasions, an attempt to chew into his arm at the inner elbow, an attempt to cut a vein in the top of his foot, and an attempt to cut into his skin at the elbow joint using a filed toothbrush.
هزوني إلى السجن الأسود وبعدين كان أحول أحوالي وأدخل فيلم البارد وبعدين هزوني للتعليق علقوني على الكوميدية فوق وصوابعي 24 ساعة على صوابعي وبعدين قعدت شهر وبعد هزوني الماء تغطس على برميل مع برميل ويغطسوا فيه بالماء بعد الماء هزوا الغرفة بتعمل نحول لك عامل كوش نحول كل حوايج على الفلوس والكوش تاع ولا صار. بعد كده قاعدين فيه بالعصيب أنا معلق أدور فيه بالعصيب ولا صار. بعدك دي بقية شفت بس بتاع الصندوق تاع الكهرباء بتاع الضوء
شنو هو؟
كرسي اللي عندك الكهرباء يعني. بعدك أزور الغرفة على كل الغرفة هني وكل مرة يدخل علي بسلاح معه بالثمين هم وبسيقة حتى نقعد شوية كنت شوية يقتلوا علي الأعداء. قعدت 4 شهور ظلام كله ظلمة وكله مسكن عيوني مسكر عيوني. وكنت تعبت ذاكرة وعاد ذاك الطبيب هذا خرجوه خلاص يعني كان يقعد 3 ساعة وخرج كان يموت يعني خرجوني. أنا ظهري مبقاش نوقد بيه بالليل وعيوني قاعد ساعات مبقاش نشوف خليك تشوف على العين انت معاك ورجلي قداش نمشي بهم مسافة كبيرة مبقاش نمشي. بس هذا وليت محيرة ولا ساعات نخمم ونفكر بس شو الحل بتاعي شو المستقبل بتاعه مع شيء ونوع عامل شيء 3 سنة ولا شيء يعمل فيها كذا.